The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Hi, this is Carl Gallups on Wednesday, March the 9th in the office of Sheriff Joe Arpaio in Phoenix, Arizona. Sheriff Joe, thank you for speaking with me.
Thank you.
Tell us, what is the status of the birth certificate investigation at this point?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because we've been talking about other matters too. So thank you. I'll try to bring you up to date. You know, if I recall, we started this. Mike Zullo, the head of my cold case volunteer posse, is the driving force. But I made a decision, I believe it was around 2012, after 200 people of the Tea Party in a suburban area of Phoenix came to me, and they asked me to look into the birth certificate. So I had a big decision to make. Do I throw it in the wastebasket like everybody else has done, or do I look at it? Now I'm a constitutional elected sheriff. I had to make a decision. These are my constituents asking me to do something, so I leaned towards that, and I did it.
Right.
Opened up the investigation, knowing it would be very controversial.
Right.
Because I'm looking into the President of the United States birth certificate.
Right.
Okay? We did it. Put a lot of work into this investigation. Mike Zullo did most of the work without payment. Some people may say you did this, sure, just to raise some money for your election campaign. I don't need this I've raised $8 million without any money coming to me because of some allegations that I raised money on the birth certificate. That's false. I have records that show I never raised money using the birth certificate.
Right.
Now, I have a campaign manager, a fundraiser that does raise money. He doesn't remember anything, especially on the check, say, for birth certificate. I raise money. I get checks all the time. I have never heard anybody come to me and say, we're doing this for your birth certificate. So that, I want to just make that straight.
Right.
I'm doing it for the United States of America. I've been in law enforcement 55 years. I've been a top federal law enforcement official in Turkey, the Middle East, Mexico, South America.
Right.
Now sheriff, 24 years. 26 years as head of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration in Texas and Arizona. And I bring that out only because we have a problem with the illegal immigration. I actually sued a lawyer named Clayman that volunteered to take the case. We sued. We went up to the Supreme Court against Obama on the illegal immigration. So the birth certificate I opened up.
Right.
I'm a professional law enforcement guy, and I know a little about politics, having been elected 6 times, going on 7.
Right.
And I've endorsed many presidential candidates. I know a little about politics. Right. If you think I'm that stupid, not realizing that this could be working against me, can't make everybody happy.
Right.
And I can't get anybody to look at our work on the birth certificate. Nobody wants to touch it. So I know it's a big political.
So you've taken it to different federal levels, and no one wanted to look at it, at the work that you had done.
We asked people to look at our report. I didn't give everybody the report.
Yes.
But we let them know we had good information.
Right.
And nobody wants to even say, can we see it?
Right.
That's interesting. We're talking about a fraudulent government document involving potentially the President of the United States, and nobody's interested.
Right.
So
what's the status now, 2016? Where are we now in this investigation?
Well, we're not going to surrender yet. We're going everywhere we can to help us to get enough proof on this forgery. Not knowing that would make any difference because even if we have all the proof, probably nobody wants to look at it. But that's another issue. So we keep pursuing, get more evidence, because one day somebody's going to have to look at this. So we've gone into a well-known international forensic analytical business that is looking into it.
Okay.
So we've gone everywhere we can go to get to the bottom of this thing.
So the investigation is still open and still underway, and now, as you just said, in the hands of an international forensic analytic business.
Yeah. Now, I can't go to the moon, but if we had somebody on the moon,
right.
I would fly to the moon.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Because this is something we started.
Right.
I don't care about my reputation. I do in a way, but I've been in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I'm not some guy off the streets.
Right. This is worthy of your
So
investigation.
I have a little pride. I may have an ego too. Okay? I don't care too much all the people that blast me. They blast me for everything.
Right.
But I have a little pride. I started this thing. I like to at least finish it.
Right.
One way or the other, finish it. And not just let it keep hanging out there. And people say, you just did this for political. I don't need this one, believe me. I don't need the birth certificate to get reelected. In fact, sometimes it works against you. But I did take the chance. I felt it was right to do when my constituents asked me to look at it, and they asked me because nobody else would look at it.
Right.
They said, sheriff, you're a elected sheriff, okay? You represent us, so what should I do? It didn't take me long to make a decision. I didn't have study groups, meetings, like I always do. I had the gut feeling, do it. And a lot of people in my own office don't even want to hear about politicians that support it, don't want to hear about it. But you know what? I'm going to do what I feel is right.
Yeah.
So it's not over yet. Never surrender. I expect to be reelected regardless of all the heat I take for other matters for my 7th term.
Right.
So I'm not going away. So if it takes more time to investigate this, I got a lot of time left.
Right.
But I want to get it done. I want to get it closed. I just can't, being an ex-federal guy for 30 years and working for the Department of Justice, I just can't understand why nobody would call. They've seen our big press conferences. Call. Say, what do you got?
Right.
Maybe we ought to look at this. It's a federal violation.
Right.
How come nobody calls me?
Right.
They'll call you on some other federal thing, or if I have a little problem with other matters, they sure go after me on that.
So right now, you're still investigating, you're still doing forensic analysis, and your desire, your hope is that eventually a federal authority, federal law enforcement agency, will ask you for the evidence so that it can be examined upon its merit, correct?
No, they don't have to ask me. I'll take my truck.
You'll take it to them,
and put it right in the lobby
Right.
of the agency that I'm going to turn it over to.
Good.
Then it's going to
Good.
be up to them.
Then it's their ball game.
And we got a warehouse full of
Right.
information.
Right.
And I'm after a forgery. But
That's right.
when you investigate, sometimes it expands. You
Yes.
get a lot of other information.
Yes.
So it's just me. I just can't surrender
Right.
and give this up after all the time Mike Zulu and I put in on this.
Right.
And just forget it.
Right.
It's not. I want to give it to somebody. I'm going to give it to, but I'm waiting for some other international results.
Yes.
First.
I got you. Okay. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work. God bless you.
Thank you.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.